Hello everyone. I am Shanni Tiwari, TGT Science from Holy Hearts Educational Academy, Raipur. Today we are going to start a new chapter of Class 7th Science NCRT, chapter number 2, Nutrition in Animals. Children, in the previous video lecture, we discussed chapter number 1, Nutrition in Plants. In that, we discussed about the different modes of nutrition in plants. That plants have two different modes of nutrition, autotrophic and heterotrophic. Plants are called autotroph as they can prepare their food by themselves. But there are some plants who cannot be able to prepare their own food by themselves and depends on other living organisms for their food. Such plants are called as heterotrophs. In that I told you that animals are basically heterotrophs. That means animal shows only heterotrophic mode of nutrition as they cannot prepare their food by themselves and depends on other living organisms for their food. They depends on plants and other living organisms. And on the basis of this heterotrophic mode of nutrition, animals are further divided into three categories. What are that three categories? I already have discussed with you. The three categories are herbivores, carnivores and omnivores. What are herbivores? The animals who eat plants are called as herbivores. Example, cow, buffalo, sheep, goat. Then what are carnivores? The animals who eat other animals. They are flesh eating such as lion, tiger, bear, fox, etc. And what are omnivores? The animals who eat both plants as well as animals are called as omnivores. Example, human beings, crow, etc. So this we already have discussed. Now, here we will talk about nutrition in animals, in which we will discuss about the nutritional requirements of the living organisms, the mode of intake of food and their utilization in the body. See, you know that the food which we eat, that food gets digested and utilized in the body. Then with that, you know that food gives energy to our body. There is a need of food in order to get energy for proper growth, for proper development. We need food. That food contains different components. What different components? Carbohydrate, fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals. And out of that component, some components are simpler substances and some are complex substances. Like carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is one of the complex substances present in the food. And you know that the complex substances cannot be easily digested. It cannot be easily utilized by the body. It needs to be converted into simpler substances for the digestion, for proper digestion. So, the component of the food needs to be converted, the complex component. The complex component needs to be converted into simpler substances during digestion process. So this process is only called as digestion. That means the process in which complex food breaks down into simpler substances is called as digestion process. That means the food which you eat gets digested in the body. That is, the complex substances breaks down into simpler substances inside the body. Now, you know that different organisms have different ways of taking food. Like honeybees, hummingbird, how do they get their food? They suck the nectar of the flower in order to get nutrition. Like snakes like python, they swallow the animals in order to obtain nutrition. Some animals, human beings, they feed on mother's milk. Likewise, there are different organisms and they have different ways of taking their food. But the process of digestion is somewhat similar in their body. That means the process of digestion takes place in their body, and in that digestion process, that food passes through different compartments for the proper digestion process. So here we will study about digestion in human beings, the digestion in grass eating animals, digestion in amoeba. Now talking about digestion in humans, you know that we take our food through the mouth, digest it and utilize it. Have you ever thought that what happens to the food inside the body? That means what process goes on inside the body for the digestion process. See, when the food we take the food from the mouth, and when the digestion process starts in the body, this food passes through a long canal which starts at the buccal cavity and ends at the anus. And this long canal this long canal through which our food passes for the proper digestion, this long canal is divided into various compartments through which the food passes for the digestion process. These various compartments includes the buccal cavity, the esophagus, which is called as food pipe, the stomach, then the small intestine, the large intestine, which ends at the rectum, and the anus. And these various compartments together constitute to form digestive tract. Clear? Now, I told you that digestion process, the complex substance breaks down into simpler ones. How this complex substances breaks down into simpler substances? See, the inner wall of the stomach, the small intestine, and the various glands present. That various glands like salivary gland, the liver, the pancreas, they secrete digestive juices, and this digestive juices converts the complex substances into simpler substances for the proper digestion process. And these various glands, the various compartments, this all constitute together to form the digestive tract. So clear to you that in the digestion process, the food passes into the long canal which starts at the buccal cavity, ends at the anus, and in between various compartments are there through which the food passes for the proper digestion process. This much is for today. The next topic, that is the different parts of the digestive system. That means what happens to the food when the food passes through the different parts of the digestive tract, we will discuss in the next video lecture. Thank you. Have a nice day.